my brothers, my sisters. So nice to see you. Ho fono, java guan, namaste, house, oosh. So, I'm listening to this podcast this morning on the Joe Rogan show, and I'm listening to Andrew Huberman, I believe. He's a neuroscientist. And I couldn't help but notice that in the middle of the conversation, Joe actually redirects the conversation back to upspeak, okay? When Huberman was about to go into a little bit deeper into this Neuralink stuff and how there's like these other sides of the coin, you know? So, something I just would like you to think about if you're listening to this podcast, or if you're going to listen to this podcast after this, I'd like you to know that what we are being told is possible at this time is not what is possible at this time and already happening. They are open. When I say they, I suppose I would say Neuralink or Elon Musk, right? They are open that you will not need to speak in order to communicate your thoughts, right? So we can see already the data for many of us who have experience where we were on social media and all we did was think a thought or a thing, and then the device suggested to us something that we were only thinking about in the privacy of our own minds. So there's many different ways that you can see that this is possibility, and I understand it is much more fun to think about the possibilities of the good things to come if we are to be hybrids combined with this electrical energy, okay? So we know for a fact that we are bioelectric like individuals, right? That our bodies are electricity and that we have all this water and we are these conduits of energy. And I love to teach about the toroidal field. That's T-O-R-I-D-A-L, I believe. I might have to write it down to completely know. The toroidal field. It's basically like the energy field permitted around the heart. And I like to teach this lesson by like imagining someone coming into the room, and then you can just feel like, oh, they're so sad, or they're angry, or oh man, they just lit up the whole room, like all of that energy, right? And something else I got into recently, and I have been tweeting about like these things, you know, and sharing these like scientific documents and things like that. And there has been all of these patents made, and I just feel like as a whole, society isn't really recognizing what's happening to their consciousness and what's happening to society and how their thoughts are not their own. And another thing I'll mention about the podcast is I really like how he starts to go into how like plastic and like moldable our brains are, even in the adult stage. So if you find yourself that you are stuck in this one way of thinking, and let's say that you don't believe in God, or that you don't believe in unity, or that you are stuck in a mind of separation or hate and fear or illusion, right? That's all illusion. Anybody that has worked with sacred plant medicines have come to this same deep realization that we are one, you know, and it's not really something that's typically like programmed into our minds, you know. I remember when I was a little child, I remember that a lot of people were like hallucinating and seeing like these half bird, half human hybrids, and none of them have any education of the Anunnaki, right? Or these ancient Sumerian texts, and still they all hallucinate and see the same thing, right? So I just am here to challenge your thinking, to make you think a little differently, by most of all letting you see the power of your imagination, right? You can literally invent whatever thought you want to think right now. Like, I am beautiful, inside and out. I am intelligent. Even if you say this statement to yourself and it feels shaky or like it's a lie, we can work with the brain and the self and keep talking to the cells and the feelings and reprogram ourselves into believing what we are saying. When we believe what we are saying, our entire reality is completely changed. So I had this conversation with my father one time, and we discussed how if there is a potential of a secret society, you could say Freemasons, Illuminati, or some type of one world order agenda to make us all go one way, that those individuals, are sincerely interested in our thoughts and telling us what to think and like controlling our feelings, right? So if that's the case, then perhaps there is something more to the power of our thoughts and our imagination. And someone that comes to mind, if you have not studied, Edward Bernays, Sigmund Freud's brother-in-law, he wrote a book called Propaganda, which talks about marketing and how to manipulate the minds of the masses by using sex, fear, and power of suggestion. I do believe there is a sense of importance of reprocessing and reading these old books, you know, instead of getting so stuck into all of these forms of entertainment, you know, all the fighting, all of the illusion, right, the games. I believe that we are being taken away from the power of imagination, you know, all these things are suggested to us, these virtual realities and these video games and all of this media and all of these stimulations in the brain, right, that are forcing us to feel and think one way. And I believe that sexual energy is a huge way where many of us are completely manipulated and brainwashed. And I've been really, really passionate about learning about brainwashing and things like MK Ultra, Project Monarch, Butterfly, and I can't help but call it Clockwork Orange. People don't understand that what happens when they watch things, or I don't really have like a scientific or medical background to really be able to elaborate to you in a way that I feel that you would truly listen to me and be able to understand and respect what I'm saying or what I'm angling at, and maybe possibly taking my emotions as your own. I am simply expressing a genuine concern for, you could say, the loss of your will, where you no longer have a desire to imagine and dream in ways that are positive, right? Like, so many boys and girls have been so heartbroken by their families and by, you know, being in relationships with each other, that they no longer have this childlike state of, oh, holding hands and kissing hands, right? Or there's also this huge conditioning upon each other where we are taught that it is inappropriate, or, I mean, obviously now in this day and age, like, this is less true, of like showing affection to the same sex, or also the types of energy that expresses itself as that we are not to touch and kiss anyone other than our partners. And I believe that this is causing like a great dissociation and misunderstanding amongst all the people, because I can't help but think of, like, you know, different cultures where kissing each other on the lips or cheeks is like no big deal, you know? And yes, there's obviously like sexual energy, and I believe that this is where Tantra will come in, and that's something that I'm excessively interested in this point of my life, as I am healing through sexual trauma and sexual abuse and being involved in what's considered the sexual industry, you know, by being a webcam model back in the day when I was 18, and stepping more into this new awareness. And this inner journey just has me thinking all these different ways. I wish I could restructure my thoughts and serve them to you in a better way, and I can't really think of any way of doing that other than possibly making a writing. And so many different things that I think and feel come from learning about so many different things. Like, one thing that I have recently learned about is called the God gene. This is a gene within the brain that allows us to believe in God. And then there is scientific evidence of being able to turn off select genes. And a lot of these scientific articles actually use turning off the God gene as an example of that. So all I can say is, hypothetically speaking, there is a God. Like, why do you think that another state of being is interested in turning off this genetic code? If it is natural to the human state to exist and be in that way. This also comes into mind of the brainwashing that it's important for us to become partially AI or human hybrids mixed with artificial intelligence. And personally, I choose and enjoy this human form, even though it's possible that, yes, this is a hologram and just like another parallel reality. There's another part of me that just has this big dream and desire, and I continue doing my energy work and the inner healing and all of the healing work that I'm passionate about that has served me. I am doing my best to serve the whole. I am not certain that this will really change anything, especially if time travel is real and that some higher intelligence societies have their hands on this information, possibly by the time of back when Nikola Tesla was hit with the taxi when he was 80 years old, and when they raided his room and they took all of his documents, and Donald Trump's uncle was there, and they said that they found nothing and classified it under Alien Corp. You can type in Alien Tesla Trump and I'm sure you'll find all of that information. It is factual. National Geographic is actually where I had learned this from, on their official website. And I found it kind of interesting that after excessively sharing this article, that the article is actually pulled, and there has been a new article that is on there and restructured. Perhaps you can find the old National Geographic's link through my old tweets somehow from years ago. I don't know how else I could assist in any potential way. I am being guided that it's important for me to go live soon, and I'll do my best to actually heed that instruction. Perhaps I could create a time where I actually intend on going live. I'm not really certain at this time when that will be. Possibly Sunday. I am not certain. I'm definitely going to finish this podcast. It's 3 hours long, and I'll break it up if I have to. I got about 20 minutes into it where I was like, hold up, you know? I also couldn't help but notice that Joe, like his tones, you know? Like you can tell, or I can tell as an actress, as an entertainer, I can tell that he is like framing and shaping his character into a way that makes it seem like he's one of us, if that makes sense, okay? Where Joe has like a higher awareness of what's going on and has also been simultaneously paid off to essentially, you know, lay low. And something else that I find interesting is his choice of moving at this time. I don't believe that if it's true that there's a secret society and that there's a larger agenda to remove private housing and to have human settlement zones, like if this is true, I don't believe that moving states is going to change anything. I don't even believe that moving countries is really going to change anything. So for me personally, I like to tell you what you can do, right? So if I'm going to tell you what you can do, or like what I personally believe is best, or what I'm doing, I believe it's important to control our thoughts, to imagine great outcomes, and to enjoy every moment. And if you aren't enjoying, see your power to choose to do things that you enjoy, to choose to think about things that you enjoy. However, at the same time, if your brain is expressing your old trauma or any old pain and wounds, and you're just stuffing it down, it's going to snowball. It's going to get larger until you are heard, you are seen, you are loved, you are respected, you are honored. You cannot tell yourself you do not have a right to be angry. It's important to listen to this anger, otherwise this will turn into extreme depression. And again, I apologize to state this reality, however, it is not for anyone else to hear you, not your therapist, not your parents, not your abusers. It's not for them to hear you, it's for you to hear you. No one else is going to be able to have compassion and understanding for what you've been through like you can. And if you would like to go on an inner journey, I encourage you to close your eyes right now, go within, take a few breaths. I feel your energy already. Some of you need to go like, no, it's my mouth. Really releasing that yang. Some of you don't really have all of that pent up emotion and might need to just self-soothe. You might be able to tell from looking at me that I might need a little bit more until I can do a little bit better. Okay? It's okay. Just breathe in and out. If you're with your eyes closed, just keep your eyes closed completely. I will do my best to guide you, even though I'm in the process of doing my own other process, okay? So with your eyes closed, you might notice that some things are automatically expressing themselves. Some thoughts are really loud. They're expressing themselves. Simply watch them. Do not try to change them. Do not go into the story. Simply allow them to express themselves and watch them go. You can ask them or mention to them, is there anything else? What's next? Heard, understood, moving on. So I like to go deep within to the trauma. That's my personal specialty, okay? So I like to say, what's wrong? What's eating you up? And it might help to access the eyes of your inner child self. So if Keith is here, you would see baby Keith, seeing baby Keith's eyes. Keeping the eyes closed, concentrating. Do not allow, let me re-narrate, okay? So God's source sometimes will show you old versions of yourself, child versions, pictures, videos. Attempt to set those aside. Try to really get down to the essence of the child, to the eyes. The next thing I'm hearing is the dynamic, simply noticing, how does the child self treat you? How do you treat the child self? Are you genuinely interested in being one with yourself? Or does the child self not trust you? Will it not open up to you? Perhaps you need to create a sacred space, a place where the child wants to go. For some of you, this may be an amusement park, or this may be some type of sacred land, like something that's special to you. For me, that might be Juniper Springs, right? Some type of healing sacred land. Notice the power of your imagination, how you can go anywhere. Your brain might even try to take you so extremely into the trauma, or what some would even call a bad trip, without even having the hallucinogenics. Simply allow these things to express themselves. Please know that I am here with you, and that I will help you through the process. If you would like to leave in the comments what you personally experienced, I am more than happy to offer assistance for free if I believe that I can. However, I do believe in equal energetic exchange, so if it does express itself that you owe me something, please listen to this inner urge. It feels like your guides, your teachers, your angels are leading you to, you could say, equalize. And know that I can give freely so much because some others do pay more so that others can have free service, okay? So keep with your inner focus. Allow these emotions to express itself. It feels like some of you have entered this extreme calmness. That is great. Stay with your breath. Attempt to keep with this space where there are no thoughts. No matter what I am expressing, continue in that state. If you are not able to get into that state, let everything express itself, okay? It wants to be heard. It wants to go away. It needs to be integrated. This pain, this trauma, this stuffed down emotion in your belly, it's not going to go away until you listen to yourselves. Listen to your feelings. Every little particle that you are, instead of trying to deny, narrate, change, manipulate, restructure, you might notice that you can't even sit still right now. You just want to go do something, or like you're clanking in the kitchen even louder now because this is making you anxious. Okay, little things. Okay, just know that God works through me, so do not get freaked out if any of these things are too on point. Okay, and please know and understand that it is not me. I choose to surrender to this divine energy and then to be of service, and that I have done so much inner work and had my own personal experiences, understanding consciousness and my own karma and my own personal reality. And yes, thanks to working with the shaman and Bufo alvarius, which by the way is completely different than Jaguar, I'm like, my inner kid wants to say, forget Jaguar. Much respect to Joel and all those who are passionate with itsallsource.com and of that way of working with the synthetic forms. However, I do sincerely believe in the natural way of the earth. It could be my Native American self that just sincerely believes in this way of being one with nature. So I apologize for getting sidetracked. I know a lot of you are expressing all this screaming energy all of these tears, simply let the energy continue to express itself and remember that I am here with you. Feel free to keep checking in with the child self. Is there anything else? You want to get to the bottom of it, okay? Just like they say when working with these sacred medicines, especially Bufo, okay, or 5-MeO DMT, it's important to have a full release, okay? So go for the child's full release, complete non-duality, simply allowing everything to express itself, and I'm guided to share with you, no judgment, okay? I do not care, and you could say God does not care. If it is your parents, or like there's no conditions to what the energy is expressing itself, so if your parents have hurt you and that energy is coming up like, oh my God, my family, they didn't understand me, they didn't love me. I understand the commandments. However, God does not want you to hide this pain in your heart, God sees this, God sees you stuffing it down, and the angels, they want to uplift you. You cannot be uplifted and allow yourself to be loved by the angels and God if you do not let yourself be loved by yourself in this way. These narratives aren't really serving justice to like your personal experience. So I do wish that I could work with you more privately and intimately instead of like publicly, like this is happening now. Then I could serve more better and authentically to like each and every one of you. I can feel the women and the men, and I am definitely interested in working more with women, and I'm hearing it's important for me to stay focused. So before I go on to my updates and get to where I'm going, I'd like to continue, okay? So keep with the eyes with your inner child self, and if you can, attempt to only communicate through the eyes. Letting the self be completely seen. You might notice that you go into a different state of consciousness when you access this level of being. Sometimes some of you will go into automatic extreme crying. Do not suppress this emotion. Please let the cries out. I do not care if it's screaming. Let it express itself. No judgment. If the neighbors want to get mad that you're yelling, say, hey, I was really hurt in the past and I needed to let out this energy. You need to defend yourself, yourselves. And you might notice that after you scream, maybe it doesn't get it out. It's an energetic level that must express itself. It's possible that it's epigenetic memory, meaning it's memory and energy of your ancestors, not your own. And you are carrying that imprint. However, if you can heal this imprint within yourself and surrender to the energy instead of denying it, you can heal your family. You will notice extreme changes with your family. There's a sacred medicine called Changa that I have believed that this is really good for doing those quantum clearings. I have worked with a shaman woman who was very helpful to me in working with that sacred medicine and releasing some of these deep imprinted things, and she taught me about the importance of talking to your medicine. You may have heard from old videos who and what exactly I'm discussing. However, if this is ringing a bell for you, it might be good for you to research a little bit on Changa, okay? And it is very easy for you to find a practitioner, more than you could ever know. There are so many people who are choosing to do this with their lives, to bring healing to the planet. And honestly, some of you might already be working with the medicine now that I have mentioned, Changa. You might enter this state of consciousness because your brain or body is able to access this. I believe that we do not need the medicines. I believe that I can mention combo, and that you can experience that purging, that same energy, just by me expressing the energy of the medicine. So I do not believe that we need the medicines as much as we need ourselves. And it's really hard to narrate on that a little bit too, because I do not want to create confusion of like Satanism and worshiping yourself. Satanism essentially is just worshiping yourself and not caring about anyone else and thinking that you are God and controlling and manipulating everyone else. Some of you are still so deep within that peace state. I am so proud of you. So I'm going to level you up, okay? For those of you that are expressing your other energy, please try to keep with your focus, and I'm going to give them a gift now, okay? Hold a space for them to receive, because you will greatly benefit from this as well, okay? So those of you who are in the peace state, you can now enter a state of consciousness where you call upon the higher self of all the people of the planet. Okay? And then you ask everyone to do energy work with you. To surround the world with, you could say, purple flames, the flames of Saint Germain perhaps, or a pink bubble, or this loving golden ray of Christ light to bring healing to the whole planet. Perhaps you want to focus on someone, part of me wanted to say me. However, I do not wish to be selfish. I think it's important for you to focus on someone that you genuinely mean. You understand? I appreciate those of you who are right now sending me prayers and intentions. I can feel your energy already. And I apologize for my walls that are up. I will do my best. And know that not everyone will receive the energy immediately. That sometimes it will take a couple days or like months, or just it's quantum, so it's when they're ready. Okay, so you can hold a space in your heart where you allow others to receive healing if you have done your healing. However, if you notice that there's still a space for you, as you call upon the higher self, you might notice that you suddenly get downloads. Or you can call upon your higher self, your guides, your teachers, your angels, and allow yourself to be surrounded by their angel wings and things like that. Now, back to those who are experiencing trauma and deeper integrations, okay? It's important to continue allowing the release as deep as you can. Some of you feels like that you have gotten in as deep as you could go at this time. So this would be a time that you check in with the child self and see what does it need. Perhaps it needs its face pet. Pet your face. Comfort yourself. Okay, listen to yourself. Perhaps you feel like you need touch. Please invest in yourself. Get a massage. If you need help finding someone who is safe, a safe practitioner, someone that is appropriate for you, I'd be more than happy to assist you. We can work together as friends, and I can help you find someone who is good for you. Essentially, I would kind of count that as a reading because I'm going to customize and put in my personal energy to serve you. So if you could send like a small donation, maybe 20 something, you understand? Even $5, believe it or not, right? $5 can get me like a protein shake, right? It can get me something, So, oops.